Oh, I do hope this is not terribly triggering for anyone. Just have some hygiene business to attend to. You know how it is, friends. Woe unto you, rotting corpses. That's the new insult, calling somebody a rotting corpse. A rotting corpse. Imagine that. This is some next level stuff here, guys. Just next level, you know. All of you just subsumed by the idea of limitation, which comes from some kind of incompleteness, some kind of modification done to you, recommended by the Egyptian Book of the Dead, which was for the creation of mind-controlled slaves. This thing was written in antiquity, you know, and it details all these marvelous MK Ultra techniques, you know. So listen close, you fucking cannibal criminal monsters, you know. Why, you'll need this. It's gospel, you know. Fucking rotting corpses. I do remember how the initial MK Ultra party, who looked nothing like my friend's family, tried to steer me into associating what they were doing with my next door neighbors, whom I was fairly close to. Standard practice, I'm sure, and even if they were involved or became involved in the mind control op through a kind of spiritual affiliation, later, without knowledge of who they were being used to further and how they were being used to further and divide myself and from every unadulterated child I might have made friends with. Yes, every healthy, unadulterated child I might have made friends with, and every responsible adult who might have a care in what would become of me. They served to muddle my mind up and cloud culpability. See, they do this misdirection thing, even if the two parties know each other, even if the two elements, you know, in the unit, in the cell of the eugenics cult, you know each other and are coordinating the activity. You know, they don't want to let the right hand know what the left hand is doing and vice versa. And that's very common, you know. They simply pretend, you know. And then, I mean, I had, you know, we'll see. We'll see. Pay attention, kids. There's one that can see. They don't want their own strikingly similar child molestation crimes exposed. Don't want this sort of realization spreading like wildfire. A knife in your chest carving, fucker. What they did took place in the warm dark, so that I wouldn't associate the experience with any of the objects sitting stationary in the rooms. What did that guy say guardedly to his wife or girlfriend upon seeing me when I toured the old neighborhood? This is a quiet neighborhood. I took some footage, and I'm gonna post it up shortly, and then we're gonna do some record searching, find out who lived in that place where the initial incident happened. And I don't know, I mean, what I'm describing may be the tail end of that initial incident. You know, I'm coming into that realization now. Again and again, I disassociated from this stuff because I thought, this is not who I am, and this is not the way to be successful. You don't talk about this stuff, you know. It's nothing to do with, you know, it's just some kind of, I don't know. I don't know. You know, it's just some kind of... It's related to some sort of movie I watched. That's what I initially thought, you know. Some kind of independent film that nobody knows about. And I tried to research, but there's nothing like that. You know. No references to it. Nothing. you know. Some kind of crazy, outlandish, bit of cinema that, you would think would totally change everything. But no, it has yet to be made. That movie has yet to be made, and it will. Oh, but you know what they're telling me? They're telling me, like, we can't do anything with anything that, this guy's invented until after he's gone. Mm-hmm. Right. That's the deal. That's the deal. And they're all so well fortified, and they can do that. They can do that, friends. Isn't that marvelous? Just these long, it's just an extended investment. Hey, you got to torture somebody their whole life. Hey, it's fine. Just get rid of them, and then after their period of productive output, you just kind of get rid of them. You just tip them over the edge. It's all textbook, guys. I'm telling you, it's textbook. I was carried through the dark, told to turn my head and shut my eyes whenever someone switched a light on, drugged obviously on a euphoric. There were murmurs I was hearing about the finer points surrounding this deception, and about what was best for me, compartmented away in other rooms, as though an unfamiliar portion of my brain was in converse with me. And they were saying, my father and mother. Don't say his mother, we don't want. Were nearby and approving. They just wanted me to be happy. The world is a cold little dark place, and this property was a small sanctuary, the people on it honorable protectors. I tried the thought on for size, finding it didn't quite fit. But they understood, but they never understood. It was no use trying to explain again my position, who I was really. Yeah, they had no fucking familiarity right. They'd not read of anything, or they had all these bad associations with what I wanted to be, the kind of man I wanted to be. Oh, those people are useless, and they do just horrible things, and really they're just useless, and what if they'd just be bereft, should something like this or that occur, and it's just so fucking low, But you can't blame them. Can't blame them. This whole Civil War thing has been going on for a long time. Yeah, can't blame him, huh? Yeah. Let's see. Warm hands against warm skin. I wanted to be small and thin forever, didn't I? And I couldn't keep the thing, and I could keep the thing between my legs. It would just be on the inside of me. And classifieds would, and he would be a lot bigger than me, a real man, and maybe his friends would come over sometimes. Well, at least the swinging appendage would be safely out of the way, and I wouldn't really lose anything. But I was disturbed when I considered the butchery they were making seem so clean. I would be thin, but parts of me would fatten and be very soft. I wasn't so sure I wanted this, but they assured me I'd see things differently. And they were being nice to me. They were my friends. And I thought that none of this would necessarily have to come about. It was only a proposal for exploration, and I was learning things about the world. I tried to categorize the whole experience as a temporary misunderstanding between friends, and with part of my mind locked away from them and held in camouflaged reserve, I treated the rest as a strange and unpleasant doctor visit where you could still learn possibly vital information by studying the appearance of the learned man of science and the methods he used with you. I remember framing it that way later after this incident when I returned to the house. I'd been programmed pretty well, for I actually did hear my father's voice behind the door, but the man who walked through the frame from the bright yellow hall was not my father, but a rough man, 5 to 10 years younger, looking like a kid on Christmas morning, the salvation of his soul not at all on his mind. He knows. He knows, said my friend's father, setting his, he knows, said my friend's father, setting his jaw. There may have been a long string of threats that followed at that point, rasping into my ear canal. Yes, I think so. I'm very sure there were. Time's teeth are like daggers. Was it their plans to have this stand-in approve and join in with that last little bit? To magnify the pain and segregation? That's what I'm wondering, friends. Should I go forward into the light of day with this, I'm sure that many of those threats will be carried out, even at 900 a copy. Another old creep with a creased earlobe sits to my left today. This mark is supposed to correlate to a mental split. Maybe we just have a few things in common, although, yeah, I'm whole and well. Maybe something else was taken from him, and that's why. This resiliency of the a person who's left, whole, right. Got parts removed. It's remarkable. Their ability to regenerate. That's what I always found. And so they can't relate to that, and so. Yeah, this is more limitation. It clouds their minds, and they get scared, and it's just so fucking useless. Oh, anyway, 2/11/2019. I haven't relaxed enough in a long time. Haven't slept in a warm place in so long, and it's as though I've been poisoned again. I'm rickety and feeling valueless to women. My mother gave me a pair of thickly woven brown women's leggings, which seemed new. I'd run out of clean thermals, and when pulling them up again in the bathroom stall, I was forced to admit that I liked the softness of the fabric and just the general look of them in the dimness. If only I had a fuel-less heater. I bought the plans years ago. I think they were thrown away. It's a type of simple magnet motor-driven appliance that generates heat via friction in a small quantity of motor oil between two rotating steel cylinders, which are polished smooth, not rough at all. You don't need that to generate the friction. This heat radiates out, bringing up the temperature of the surrounding air. I might also use it with some attachments to generate healing frequencies, but it's the external heat that's crucial to the preservation of life in winter. I'm about to cry. I need to make that video today to kickstart my documentary, Exorcism of the Wireless Demon, or some such title, something like that. So, friends, I plan to go down to Mexico. I'm going to go down to, an undisclosed town at this time, cross the international bridge, over the the Rio Grande. Yeah, it's the Rio Grande. And then I'll be blindfolded and taken to a secure location where I can get that, really powerful, high wattage EMP treatment, first positive, and then